really don't like Charlie. Couple other things brewing. We covered this earlier in the week that Louie Ruelas has taken a step back. He's taken a step back from Teresa. He does leave comments on the social media sometimes, but he has not posted on his own social media. And she was away this past weekend, this weekend doing an event. We'll have more on that. And he is with her, so he's not really MIA in her life, but he is certainly not posting on his Instagram. He is certainly not necessarily being a part of her Instagram. And a lot of people say, well, this is a strategy to lay low as you owe the taxes. I've heard a lot of other things from Teresa's camp. Now, we knew she fired a lot of people. She did the interview, the question was asked. She fired the lawyer. I heard, you know what I heard about the lawyer? The same lawyer that, when the penny goes into the middle of the street in New York City, he'll fucking chase a penny into the middle of the street. He chases it in. The pants are falling down. His ass crack is showing. It's up in the air. He's picking up the penny, and the speed bus being driven by Keanu and Sandra Bullock is barreling down Fifth Avenue, about to crush him like a bug, run him over. He still wants the penny. So this lawyer don't walk away from nothing. I heard Teresa fired the lawyer over the taxes. Louis, who owes the majority of taxes, let's just be clear. Teresa, I think, owes around 300,000, and his is, I think, 2.6 or something like that. Louis has been trying to get him out since day one. He got out the assistant, Carrie Ann. She's still around. Yes, she'll book Teresa's shows if there's anything to book. She's not working with Teresa on these current shows. She has other clients she's attending to. Love Carrie Ann. She's a good girl. But Louis's been trying to get these people out of the mix from day one. So Louis goes and blames the lawyer, which I don't know why you're blaming the lawyer. It sounds like you didn't pay taxes for a long time. And the lawyer, listen, when something goes wrong, it's just like a corporation. Somebody's going to get fired and heads are going to roll, right? So the lawyer's the scapegoat. And shocker, Teresa chose Louis over the lawyer. He's gone. That's why she did it. She's fired everyone. But he's laying low. A lot of people say because of the taxes. I heard a totally different reason from inside her camp. We have a source that is inside her camp. I heard that Louie is laying low for RHONJ. Can you imagine season one for her? Sutton Strack. We love Sutton Strack. We want her to be a housewife, but she's a friend of. Why is she a friend of? She can't show her family. The kids were still under 18, some of them, and the husband, and the husband, Christian Strack, he's a very powerful finance guy who moved overseas. He didn't want the kid shown, and they didn't know something. They said, too bad, you're a friend of. You're not going to show your life. Shamia in the past didn't want to show her life. Now, season two, it's all out the window once you prove yourself. She proved herself, Sutton, and then they said, we don't care if you show your life. You're upgraded to full time. Great decision. Well, imagine they always want you to show, show, show. Imagine for the first time in history, RHONJ, RHONY, all the shows for the first time in history, we have a group of producers that don't want to see your life. They don't want to see Louis. So I heard from inside the camp, from our source, that as my voice cracks, the source, that the reason he's MIA from social has nothing to do with the fucking taxes. The IRS is onto you, bro. They're coming. They're coming and knock, knock, knock on the door. The loan is due next year. They're coming to knock, knock, knock on the door where I come from. If you don't pay a loan, I don't know. I hear the word kneecaps. I get scared. I don't borrow money that I can't pay, or at all, basically. But I heard he's laying low off the social because of RHONJ, that RHONJ does not want him. Unequivocally, they do not want him on the show. And they do want Teresa. If they knew that they just wanted to move along with Melissa, we would be there already. If they just wanted to move along with Teresa, we would be there. They obviously want both. They want Teresa and they want Melissa. Let's be honest. If they just wanted Melissa, this thing would have already been cast. If they just wanted Teresa, this thing would have already been cast. They want both. And so we're still at a standstill. They're waiting to see what happens in each of their lives. They don't want Louis. So for the first time ever, they actually don't want you to show your life. This is why he's laying low. Now, an interesting thing is going to happen, because what's going to happen is if we give a contract to Teresa and we give a contract to Melissa and we don't want Louis, sure, they could say to Teresa, keep him out of it. listen, Louis wants his cake and to eat it too. He wants her to have the contract because he married someone who's a cash cow, making 2 point something a year. So he wants her to have the contract, but does he really want her to film without him? Oh, he loves being in front of the cameras. So Louis, I heard, is so thinks he's got how this works that he thinks he's gonna lay low on Instagram, get her the contract, they're going to say we don't want him involved. She's going to sign the contract. And now he's just going to spring himself on the producers and be at every event. Well, let me tell you something, Looney Louie. That ain't how it works, honey. That ain't how it works. If they don't want you in that scene, I don't care if you show up and light a match and burn it down. I don't care if you show up and punch someone in the face. You're not going to become part of the storyline if they don't want you there. So he seems to think, let's lay low, let's get her the contract because they don't want me. This is the real reason he's disappeared. It's got nothing to do with the taxes. That he's going to disappear. And then when she gets it, he's not going to just sit by the sidelines. He's going to say, where's my job? And he's going to want to be involved. That's his plan. That's why he's banned from social. Speaking of wanting both Melissa and Teresa, Dolo, you just hurt Teresa's chances of coming back to the show. Cut it, Dolo. Ferme la bouche. Keep the mouth shut. So Dolo, again, who for 20 years on the damn show hasn't had a voice, has not said one word. I love Melissa. I love Teresa. I love Margaret. I love Margaret's enemy. I love this one. I love everyone. Let's bake some meatballs. She hasn't had one thing to say. You guys say she's boring. Now all of a sudden Dolores has a voice. The show is canceled, sweetheart. You're 10 years too late, and this is why everyone thinks you're so fucking boring. But she's opening up and she's slamming the guy that interviewed Teresa. So she's coming to her friend's defense and saying, "Oh, he's a scumbag." Really? He asked the question. Now the tree huggers, they could spin anything. Of course, the huggers. Dolores might be one of these Finsta hugger accounts. The hugger Finstas agree. What a scumbag! How dare he ask that? How dare he ask that? That's what we ask when we interview people. I never shy away from a question. Ask, ask, ask. Now, there's got to be a way to ask it. I really don't think this guy was rude. It has nothing to do with whether I like Teresa or not. I didn't think he was that rude. He asked a question. He wasn't rude. That's my. But Dolores said he's a scumbag. This is New Jersey. You're a scumbag. Anyway, so Dolores is slamming everybody in favor of Teresa. But here's what she doesn't realize. Quiet, Dolores, because you're opening your mouth for the first time in a decade. And what she just said hurts Teresa's chances of coming back to New Jersey. She was on the podcast with a rat, that's goodies. Guys, the Tamrat is back in our lives. Now, everybody sit down. I know you're upset. I know you don't want the Tamrat back, but here she is. Emily Simpson says it's the best season of RHOC. So let's embrace the rat that's goodies. Tamara has given us many, many years and has put on some good shows for us. So she's on the thing with a rat, and the rat, Tamara, is saying, I don't want. Now, first of all, Tamara doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about when it comes to New Jersey. She's talking out of her asshole. Stay over there on the West Coast, rat. Stay over there. Oh, she's scurrying, guys. Stay on the West Coast. Here,